Durance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-291-3183. That's 800-291-3183. 800-291-3183.
They're pounding on the door. They're calling on the phone. They're threatening to close your business. If debt has your business on the brink, call Ray Reynolds, the godfather of credit. For over 40 years, Ray Reynolds has helped thousands of customers get millions in cash credit. It's no wonder why they call Ray the godfather of credit. He may even be able to raise your score above 750 before the end of the year. You could even get a new personal or business credit line up to $50,000 within days. If your credit needs a rebuild, call Ray Reynolds and receive a $1,000 cash credit card at closing. Raise your credit score to 750 or more. Call Ray Reynolds at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295. Learn about Ray's secrets to success and how he can fix and improve your credit score to 750 or more. Call the Godfather of Credit Rebuild, Ray Reynolds, at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Bob Casey supported sanctuary city policies that let criminal illegal immigrants onto our streets instead of deporting them. Casey voted over and over again to fund sanctuary cities, making our neighborhoods less safe. After an illegal alien was arrested for domestic assault in Philadelphia, instead of deporting him, they let him go. Thanks to sanctuary city policies Bob Casey supported. That same criminal, released under the radical policy Casey voted for, went on to repeatedly rape a 5-year-old girl. It could have been prevented. It should have been prevented. But Bob Casey failed us. The U.S. attorney said this young girl was raped because of Philadelphia's sanctuary city policy. Bob Casey voted over and over for this madness, putting our families, our children, at risk. We've had enough of Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Show me the money. Who's handling the money? A big race in Pennsylvania I'll profile with a redheaded woman. Some headlines real quick this morning on this cloudy day, with a cloudy Tuesday with a high of 70 degrees. Hey, Dawn Stensland here. We have a lot going on with right here in Philadelphia. We have hundreds, if not thousands, of union members out in the picket lines. This is South Philadelphia, Packer Ave included in that. And this huge strike started 12:01 early this morning. And I know some of those guys and gals were out there picketing this morning before sunrise. So we're watching this strike very carefully, obviously impacting in total 45,000 union members. And this affects docks. This affects our economy because they're not loading up any goods that are coming into ports, such as here in Philadelphia and up and down the East Coast, as I've been talking about and monitoring the situation for you all morning long. So we'll watch this important strike. How many days will it go? And this could cost, if you will, our economy billions of dollars in just a week if this thing drags on. These are dock workers, and they're picketing here in Philadelphia, Port of Philadelphia, early this morning in the International Longshoremen's Association, ILA. So they're on strike right now. This impacts the entire nation, but it's East Coast, not West Coast. So the entire East Coast, and I'll mention Gulf Coast. 45,000 workers, Texas to Maine. They want better pay, higher pay, job security. What are they really worried about? Well, they're worried about protections against automation. Robots. They don't want to be replaced by robots. And they say they are relatively lower paid when you think about all of the individuals, even, my goodness, lifeguards, for example, in our area making $16, $18, $21 an hour. And some of these dock workers don't make that. They're saying, we deserve more. We want we want to get more money and get better benefits and especially get better protections. I'll just point out to you, last time port workers on the East and Gulf Coasts went on strike, nearly 50 years ago, this was 1977. So a lot of times we hear about on the West Coast, they don't have it together as much as on the East Coast. We hear that all the time. We know that our folks, and I'm not being biased here, look at the numbers, are just better, more efficient, well-run. That's a general rule of thumb as opposed to their West Coast counterparts. And so they're saying, we get the job done, and we work hard, we deserve the money. So show me the money. That's the headline for these workers this morning. We'll talk about all of it. Some important health news as far as who is now banning these types of red dyes and yellow dyes that are banned in parts of Europe and Italy. Where is that happening in the USA? And a new tick-borne disease striking our area the first time in our nation's history. We'll get to all of it, but we want to welcome in my next guest. Recently saw her actually at a big event, and this is a decorated veteran businesswoman, Stacey Garrity, who is, yes, a redheaded woman. Thank you, Dan Borowski, our great executive producer. We're thinking of a redheaded woman song, this one by Springsteen, but state treasurer, quite successful, known in particular for making sure that you get your stuff back from the state treasurer, has been good with that campaign. Stacey, good morning. Good to have you here.
Good morning, Dawn. Happy to be here with you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It was great to see you recently at a great event in Montgomery County. So let's talk about it. I know that you are front and center on the Philadelphia Inquirer this morning, and getting a boost, if you will, from Governor Josh Shapiro. The headline in the Inquirer says that Governor Josh Shapiro is just staying out of this race, important race, not endorsing the Democrat, your opponent, who's a Democrat, Erin McClellan, for state treasurer. Apparently had a falling out with her, and she was not the Democrats' choice anyway. But your reaction to the fact that Governor Josh Shapiro, who says he's a very popular governor, if you look at the polls, he is. So do you consider this a little help from an unlikely friend?
Well, quite honestly, Dawn, I'm not surprised that he's not supporting her because she is a very unserious candidate. I mean, she hasn't gotten one of her campaign finance reports correct. She did run a small business, but she ran it into the ground. She was sued when she ran for federal office. So she's run for 5 different offices in the last 10 years. And honestly, she has not been friendly to Governor Shapiro. She attacked him when he was being considered for vice president. And, politics aside, to have a governor from your own state considered to be on a national ticket, that's a big deal. So to go after the governor from your own party, I thought, I was wondering what she was thinking about. And she's gone after him on school vouchers. She's gone after the Keystone Saves program. So she's really at odds on a number of things with him.
The job that you have as the state treasurer and the treasurer's office in Pennsylvania, you are the top fiscal watchdog and responsible for saving and investing, obviously withdrawing, $150 billion. You really have control over that and watch over it, I should say, in state funds. And you're independent. It's a critical office, to just watch this. And I know that you're considered, I think you've always, I've never heard much controversy until maybe lately. They were alleging that there were some campaign issues with you or finance issues and kind of rolling that and conflating that against your current opponent. I'm looking for anything tangible. Is there anything filed against you as far as those campaign allegations that I guess your opponent has made verbally?
I haven't heard about any. I mean, my campaign finance reports are to the penny. They are straight up great. Her last campaign finance report, she overstated it by $10,000. She had to go back and correct it. And if you put that into perspective, 10% of the Commonwealth's assets, which right now are at $170 billion, would be $17 billion. So I'm not sure if that's the individual we want, being the fiscal watchdog over that $170 billion of Commonwealth assets. So, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to talk about your background a little bit. And I know we haven't talked for a little bit, Stacey Garrity, but I know that, your background is ROTC, right? You have a military background, ROTC in college. You were actually deployed multiple times to Iraq, 1991, Operation Desert Storm, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom, and you were awarded the Bronze Star twice for your exceptional service and received, multiple different awards, prestigious awards before retiring from the Army Reserve with the rank of colonel. How much did your military experience help you do? I mean, first of all, you went on to have your own private business, but now to have this top job in Pennsylvania.
Well, honestly, I would have never ran for public office had I not hit my mandatory retirement date in the military, because serving was and is the honor of my lifetime. As you know, I was not supposed to win, Dawn. So every day that I get to wake up and serve the hardworking, people of Pennsylvania is truly a blessing to me. But I would say what has helped is, there are core leadership values in the military that I live 24/7. So they are loyalty, duty, respect, service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. And I would say, as far as the Treasurer's Office, the most important is obviously integrity.
As far as integrity, before the national media knew that you were a conservative woman, you made national media headlines when you were dubbed the angel in the desert for your perfect record overseeing those enemy combatants in Iraq. And at the time, there were, unfortunately, some scandals about alleged prisoner abuse, that sort of thing. You were hailed and profiled and made national news at that time. Angel in the Desert. That's kind of a nice little title there when you talk about what's that?
It's a pretty badass nickname that she's got there.
Yes, that was 2003, 2004, featured on National Public Radio, NPR, actually. Ooh. And so they had met a detainee that said that I saved his life. And I'm not sure. I mean, I helped out a lot of, I helped out a lot of folks over there, because at that time, 03, 04, if you recall, it was kind of the wild, wild west. And, of course, I was in Camp Bucca, which is in southern Iraq, nowhere near the other facility that got all the national attention. So they profiled me, and, it was quite interesting. But my last deployment, 2008, 2009, I was acting battalion commander at Camp Bucca again. And I had 7,000 detainees. I had death row, about 220 detainees, and we were the very first internment facility to have zero abuse allegations and zero escape attempts.
You're a woman in a high office, and an important office, looking at fiscal clarity and transparency. You've talked a lot about that. And so a lot of people may say, well, Stacey Garrity, you as a woman, certainly a colonel, as you retired from the Army Reserve with the rank of colonel, certainly you believe in having women in these high-profile places, such as President of the United States of America. So do you support that kind of candidacy because someone's a woman? Because someone's a woman, should she have, a better chance at succeeding in America? Do you subscribe to that?
I really don't, Dawn, and I don't know if it's because of, I'm from very rural Pennsylvania, but I have never received a promotion or an award or an opportunity based on my gender. So I think it's always really important that we pick the most qualified, especially for these, like if you're going to have somebody be the commander in chief of the nation, I want absolutely the best qualified candidate.
You're born and bred Bradford County, and I can't help but think of another, famous Pennsylvanian who was mayor there in that county, John Fetterman, who's a Democrat, has made a lot of headlines, obviously. Do you have anything in common with him? Did you did you two ever cross paths in Bradford?
Well, I'm from Bradford County. He's from Bradford, PA, which is McKean County. But I will tell you, we do have something in common, and that is our support for Israel.
Okay.
And so you've probably seen, I've been in the news over the $20 million investment in Israel bonds 5 days after the Hamas attacks on October 7th. So I'm proud of the fact that Treasury has been invested in Israel bonds since 1993. And that includes investments made by treasurers from both political parties. And in fact, my predecessor invested $18 million, and he did it for the exact same good reasons that I did. So the investment is smart on a financial level because the bonds pay above market rates, and Israel has never, ever defaulted. And, of course, I think it's very smart to support an important American ally. Israel is our strongest ally in the Middle East, and I will always stand by them.
I would imagine, particularly because, Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, beginning tomorrow evening, then I think of October 7th, tragically the one-year commemoration of the terrorist attacks on Israeli civilians, with still hostages, as I speak, being held against their will by their captors, and a handful of them Americans. I would imagine this is something that takes front and center focus, and perhaps is one of the reasons that Governor Josh Shapiro, who I think also agrees with your stance, is not taking any swipes at you.
Well, I have to tell you, that's probably a reason. I work well with his office. I mean, when you look at my opponent, one thing she did say was that if she didn't agree with a bill that the governor signs into legislation, that she would refuse to pay the invoices unless she was sued and lost by the state Supreme Court. So I don't think that we want a treasurer deciding what they're going to pay based on a personal viewpoint. So I'm sure that that's another thing that he appreciates about me. So I worked well on the rainy day fund as well.
Yes. And I know that last time we talked, you've always had this campaign to tell people, you want to empty as far as the vault that is held for people who don't realize that they have lost, basically a lost and found. But I know that there was one story, Dan was just calling to my attention, that you had returned more than $57,000 of unclaimed property involving the Reading Fight and Fills game.
She did have like a promotion, I think,
That's
at a Fight
cool.
and Fills game. What's going on here?
I did. So, we've really made it a priority to try and get money back where it belongs, into the hands of the hardworking Pennsylvanians that earned it, because we do have $4.5 billion. And I always like to say, look, that's not the state's money. It doesn't belong to us, so let's get it back into the hands. So I've gone to a number of minor league games, and we've set up, a booth and helped people look to see if they had any unclaimed property. And actually last year we hit a brand new record of returns, almost $274 million. So quite proud of that. But you know what? There's a lot more to do. And especially right now in high inflationary times, a few $100s can really help a family that may be struggling, when they go to the grocery store or fill up their tank with gas.
Yeah, it's so important. What's the most bizarre thing that was ever, as far as something that was bizarre where somebody realized that they had money that was unspoken for, that was theirs or a family member's?
So there were 2 million gold and platinum bars in a safe deposit box. So, of course, after 3 years of dormancy, it ends up coming to Treasury. And so I don't know how you misplaced $2 million in gold and platinum bars, but they discovered that they did. We found the owners, and we got it back to them. But, Don, I will tell you what my very favorite thing is in the vault, and that's the military decorations, which I say are priceless. So, again, we get those from abandoned safe deposit boxes. And since taking office, I've had the absolute honor of returning 443 military decorations, including 11 Purple Hearts and 3 Bronze Stars.
Yeah, it's so important.
Wow.
And overall, how much have you, I know Dan's whispering in my ear, Gold Bar Bob, somewhere there's a inappropriate. I was resisting, you know what I mean?
I'm all the way in PA. Yeah.
I'm not taking the low-hanging fruit there, Dan.
Hey, before you go, Dawn, forward with this, I just want to say I Googled on the PA Treasury website, so patreasury.gov, you can search up your name. There is some unclaimed property for a Dawn Stensland that you might need to collect.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Couple under 100s there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So I'll have to have my husband do it. No, but it's true.
We can help you. Listen, 1 out of 10 Pennsylvanians has unclaimed property, and people say to me, "Oh, that's impossible. I don't have any." And those are always the people that have it, and they can be uncashed checks or rebates, old bank accounts, stocks, bonds, you name it.
It's such a divisive time to be in politics. And not that you're a lifer in the sense that you've done other things, as I said, military background, serving in our military honorably, and then going on to have your own business. But why even put yourself out there? I was looking you up, Stacey, and you're a beautiful woman. I saw you recently at an event, like I say, less than a week ago. And even there was I'm going to call them out, Penn Live. They had this picture of you in horribly lit, like they took the worst. They take the worst possible picture of a conservative woman. This is one of my complaints. And then your opponent, they make look like on the cover of Vogue with the touch-ups already. Like, not to go here, but I'm going here. Why would you even want to run as a conservative woman and be out there?
I love the Commonwealth. I believe in this state, and I'm just proud to fight for Pennsylvania taxpayers. And that's exactly what I'll continue to do if voters give me a second term. But if they want to look at my record, we've basically broken every record at Treasury, from the unclaimed property, from the military decorations, cutting fees for the PA 529, almost $17 million. And we recently got upgraded to gold, and we are one of 2 gold plans in the entire nation to be rated gold. And then the last one I'll mention is PA ABLE, which is our program for people with disabilities. Those assets have tripled in the last 3 years, and we just did actually an event to celebrate crossing the $125 million threshold.
Well, Stacey Garrity, we'll leave it there for now. State Treasurer, running to keep your job. So thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Stacey. You too. Take care. Thank you for getting in the redheaded woman. There's some dirty parts to this song, so we were making sure that
you want Redheaded Woman? I put on Cinnamon Girl by Neil
Cinnamon
Young
Girl.
here. Yeah, this is maybe just as bad though.
I knew you were doing redheaded.
Why are there no clean songs about redheaded women out there, right?
It's like, maybe it would help. You know what I mean?
Here's some Bruce for you.
Spice up the campaign.
He's so bad. You like Bruce? Listen to these noises. It sounds like he's being stepped on. Hey.
I know.
Yeah.
Why is it that some of our favorite people have to get out there and be in politics? They should provide
It's not even
an escape.
politics. It's his music. It's terrible.
No, it is not.
Yeah, it is.
Some of I like his music. My husband
How many times have you seen Bruce?
Oh, my goodness.
A lot?
A lot.
Really?
Larry and I have been.
Oh, you're one of those?
Well, Larry's my husband's a huge fan. So we have been to, I've lost count over the years. We left one of our famous stories before we had kids.
So many you've
we
lost
left
count.
a wedding because we had these awesome tickets to a Springsteen concert.
Yeah.
Here in Philadelphia. This was years ago. And we left the wedding. We changed into our jeans, snuck out of the reception.
It's a status symbol.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. It's so you can say to your friends, I went to last night's Springsteen. Do you really actually want to go see Springsteen for the 88th time?
I don't now.
No?
I don't now. The last tickets Larry got, he took my son, he took one of the boys, he took Michael.
Uh-huh.
And that was up in State College.
Are the boys fans of Springsteen?
Michael.
What's the musical taste? Is it older music?
Eclectic.
Okay.
Very, very, both of them eclectic, but old school. They love, because there's no.
Are they listening to the new crap, though?
No, not really.
Okay.
But
My nephews love the new rap and all. I just can't stand it.
I think my youngest does because of football. That's what they play when they work out.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and Madden soundtrack for the video game is all that type, and yeah.
Yeah, but even was it Electric Factory? That's we went to Jeff Lynne's.
Okay.
That was because of Michael. That's why Larry got those tickets.
Oh, really?
And I didn't even know.
I love that.
If you look up Jeff Lynne, you'll say, "Oh, he wrote that. This is his song." I had no idea because there's so much.
Did you do a bunch of ELO or what was
ELO? I meant not Electric Factory. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were saying you went to the Electric Factory to see him.
No, ELO.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
No, you're fine.
If Larry's listening, he's laughing right now because I do that all the time. I don't really know music as far as all that, but I love it. When I hear it, I love it. I love concerts. Like, I'm so jealous of Phil Almquist that he went to Stevie Nicks.
Are you, though?
Yeah, I would have loved that. It's so much fun.
As much as I love Phil, that's a lot of concerts that guy goes to.
It's fun.
It's like he's gone to like 2 in a day, and
well, that's a little crazy.
Yeah, I can't handle
it. I like
to
kick back and relax.
It's impressive. I'll give him that.
But no, with Springsteen, it makes me sad. Like, why? Why do you have to be so political?
Yeah.
If somebody is a great actor or a great performer, just do what you do and just stay out of it.
Yeah. Like someone like Mark Cuban, who I used to really idolize.
But he's not an entertainer.
He's not an entertainer, but I like Shark Tank, and he went to IU. He's a frat guy from IU, did a lot for the fraternities on the campus there, so had a lot of respect for him until recently. Now he's going way off the left end there.
I think he's probably thinking that he wants to run.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think that's...
How do you think he'd do?
He's testing the waters. Horribly.
Yeah.
I think he
like a Mark Cuban and The Rock ticket?
Well, The Rock, I think, would do well.
Okay.
On the other hand.
Yeah, so The Rock as president and Cuban as Veep?
The Rock, somebody like that, I think would do very well, especially with younger voters. But I don't really know his... you'd have to see his policy because you don't want a lightweight.
Don't give him any ideas.
I know.
Yeah.
No, he's talked about it.
Yeah.
But he's so wealthy.
I don't think The Rock wants anything to do with politics, to be quite honest.
I think he toyed with it for a while.
He did.
But I don't think anymore.
I mean, he was kind to conservatism to a degree. Like he wasn't like super lefty or anything, was he, The Rock?
I think that
Was he? I don't really remember, to be quite honest, yeah.
We'll have to explore that. 855-839-1210. Want to get to some of the health news of the day? When is Caroline Leavitt with the Trump campaign?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. So we'll get to her. A lot of questions for her ahead of tonight's Veep debate, but also Trump in those 6 states. Well, in Georgia, one of 6 states just horribly hit by the devastating storms. And we'll be talking about this. It'll take years to recover from this. So we'll talk about all of it and get your take. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there. investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano at Batteries Plus Bulbs in Mount Laurel and Northfield. My friend Roy is looking for help. A handy do-it-yourselfer would be ideal. It's a great low-pressure environment with both full-time and part-time jobs available. Plus, if you're the entrepreneurial type, Roy is always interested in bringing in new services. But above all, customer service key. If you're willing to do what it takes to help, you need to talk to Roy. Be part of the team. They power it, they light it, they fix it. Call 856-638-0778. Batteries Plus Bulbs, Mount Laurel and Northfield.
The most important part of your financial future is the firm you choose. You see, all financial firms are not the same. Traditional firms that sell securities can't guarantee income and are vulnerable to bankruptcies, market losses, capital gains taxes, and ongoing fees. But the exclusive crash-proof retirement system continues to protect over 5,000 clients from market losses and bankruptcies and provides guaranteed tax-favored income with the potential for double-digit interest returns with no fees whatsoever. Our one-of-a-kind proprietary system continues to protect billions of dollars in assets. Are you in or near retirement? There's only one crash-proof retirement for the American retiree. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Spring Mill Country Club on October 16th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
This is Jean Marie Laskus with the podcast Cement City. So there's this election coming up, a big one, and one guy's been indicted. People are talking voter fraud. Democracy itself is on the line. Sound familiar? Well, this isn't that election. This one is in Donora, Pennsylvania, a dying town in the middle of nowhere, where I bought a house and stayed for 3 years. Listen to and follow Cement City, an Odyssey original podcast in partnership with Cement City Productions, available now for free on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Is your car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. New brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, you pay nothing on repairs? Ox gets it fixed? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance?
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-224-8517. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care. 800-224-8517. 800-224-8517. Or go to oxcarcare.com.
An American Heritage Cash Reward MasterCard helps you tackle that to-do list. Get up to 3% cash back at home improvement stores, groceries, and pharmacies. And when the chores are done, treat yourself to a well-deserved vacation, earning 2% cash back on travel, hotels, and rideshares, and 1% on everything else you buy, including back-to-school supplies. Apply today at AmericanHeritageCU.org/credit cards. Subject to credit approval. Insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa classic hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
Hey, Clementon. Yeah! We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
Smell what the rock is cooking.
And that's important to me. And authenticity. We hear that word a lot, but that's important to me. And I feel like, and I mean, we could go down the well here, but there's, in today's easy cancel culture world, and cancel culture, woke culture, this culture, that culture, division, etc. That really bugs me. And in the spirit of that, you either succumb and be what you think other people want you to be, or you go, well, no, that's not who I am. I'm going to be myself, and I'm going to be real. If you ask me something, a real answer is important, and the truthful answer is important, and that may get people upset, it may piss people off, and that's okay. But it took me some time to recognize that. At first I was, in a way, adverse to fame, and I didn't understand the power of it, how it could swing both ways, and finally as I got down the road a little bit and started achieving some notoriety, a little bit of success here and there, I start to realize, oh man, this is a superpower. The fame is a superpower when used correctly, I believe, when you could use it to influence people and also use it to influence other people in terms of, again, being direct and being honest.
So that is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, as he was really thinking out loud when asked about an endorsement. Remember in 2020, he had endorsed Joe Biden for president. This time around, he says, no, I'm going to keep he did not endorse Trump, but you heard what he said. He is saying that he's no longer endorsing Biden-Harris. When he was asked about this at the time, Biden was still running, but he has been silent. By the way, I believe that he is, as I recall, related I believe that he's related to Vaisika Hema, who's a family friend who was at our wedding years ago. But I think Vi had said that they were related
Really?
I believe so.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So little Philadelphia Eagles, local guy connection.
I do have his endorsement back in 2020 of Biden, too.
Publicly endorsed a presidential candidate or a vice presidential candidate. So I figured let's kick this conversation off this way by me officially publicly endorsing you both.
Are you happy?
That was to Biden and Kamala.
Okay, so that was back then, and then he is really walking that back, and has spoken out since then against this quote unquote woke culture, and now just kind of staying off to the sidelines. I do love my youngest son loves some of his workout videos that he posts on social media. Obviously, somebody as an athlete, as a movie star, wrestler, all of that, he stays fit and puts nutrition and his fitness routines up there. I think the definition of the manly man. And so just to counter that, if we think about who would be if you were to look up the opposite of The Rock, what? I'm just saying, just for some fun, what if we throw out some names? So who would be the unmanly man? Somebody who's a little effeminate, who's not a manly man.
Let's hear from Jason Miller of the Trump campaign during a press call, Don.
Walz is very good in debates. I want to repeat that. Tim Walz is very good in debates, really good. He's been a politician for nearly 20 years. He'll be very well prepared for tomorrow night. He's not going to be the wildly gesticulating, effeminate caricature we see at rallies pointing to Kamala Harris and dancing about on the stage.
So that was Trump campaign senior advisor Jason Miller and talking about Governor Tim Walz. And obviously, first and foremost, when he says, he's very good at this, they're trying to raise the bar for him, lower the bar for JD, and tee him up for a slam dunk, tee up JD Vance for a slam dunk. But for, the put down was, and I know Casey Hunt, the CNN anchor who he was on with, challenged him.
Laid into him,
right?
Don. Yeah.
When he said he's effeminate.
Yeah, and are you offended when you hear something like that, when he calls Walz effeminate?
Does anybody think that he's like a manly man?
Apparently, yeah.
I thought he kind of owned it.
That do. Yeah.
I thought that he was proud of that.
A new definition of masculinity.
The beta thing.
Yeah. Let's listen to Casey Hunt pushing Jason Miller on the comments of Walz being effeminate.
Jason, before I let you go, I do want to follow up on something we heard from you on that press call where you referred to Tim Walz as effeminate. That stuck out to me. Why did you use that term?
Well, you look at the way that Tim Walz dances around on the stage. That's just the way that it struck me, and so that was my characterization. And that's Tim Walz. That's why I said he's kind of goofy, bounces around. He doesn't look like a particularly...
Goofy and bouncing are not... I mean, the effeminate has a lot of specific connotations to it.
Goofy and bouncing around. It's not someone who comes across as this alpha male, someone who's a killer that's going to come out there and be sharp on the debate stage. But that's what we're going to see tonight with Tim Walz. Again, not to say that J.D. Vance isn't going to show up and do very well, but Tim Walz will be an absolute killer. He's not going to be this goofy caricature of himself as we normally see when he's on stage and doing the weird pointing thing to Kamala Harris. Tim Walz is good. I would say the advantage definitely goes to him since he's been doing this for so long. Let me tell you where J.D. Vance, though, is going to excel. Where he's going to excel is when he's talking about his humble upbringings as well as his military service. Also, nobody defends President Trump's record on building a great economy and securing our border better than J.D. Vance. That's where I think the matchup's going to be.
Yeah, so I think it's so funny that I think the producer got in her ear and said to Casey Hunt, the anchor, in her earpiece, Casey, you got to circle back on the issue of, you can't call him effeminate. But the answer is, yeah, he's effeminate. He just is. I mean, even, I wonder if Pete Buttigieg, who's helping him with the debate prep, I bet you Pete, who's not effeminate, is going like, yo, Tim, man up here, dude. Right? I mean, that because he's helping, because, come on.
Yeah.
He's
not much of the definition of masculinity, Tim Walz. How about Doug Emhoff? Do you think he is?
Important part, an interesting part of how people have talked about your role here is how your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. And I'm not sure you planned on that, but you are an incredibly supportive spouse. Has that been an evolution for you? And do you think that's part of the role you might play as first gentleman?
It's funny. I've started to think a lot about this. I've always been like this. My dad was like this. And to me, it's the...
So the other piece of it is that I know the Casey Hunt, I think this morning or at another point, remember at the rally when Trump, was that last weekend? It all blends together, but Trump had said he was a moron. So,
hold on, here you go.
He's going up against a moron, a total moron. How she picked him is unbelievable. And I think it's a big factor. There's something wrong with that guy. He's sick. He went into the Michigan game the other day. He got booed out. I went into the Alabama game. The 120,000 people went crazy.
Went crazy, Dawn.
What I love about this, and I laugh because it's just, here's the thing. Normally, if you were advising somebody in a campaign, anybody else but Trump, and you said, like, you can't say that. But the thing about it is, that's part of who he is. That's Trump. That's how he speaks. We all have relatives who he's saying it like it is. He thinks the guy is a total moron. Okay? And he just says it without...
Just speaking the truth. Yeah.
Right. He's just saying his truth. And after all, should we not all be able to speak our truth? I'm just saying.
Chris Christie, who's got nothing going except I could be tougher than Trump. He's not tougher than anybody's slub.
It's like this guy. And normally, like if I were at work and somebody said, I would say, stop, but he just, I don't know. The thing about it is, it's part of his.
A total moron.
In a way, if I'm running against him, I'm wearing that as a badge of honor, quite frankly.
What, that you're a moron?
That he comes
that he calls
up.
Your names?
That he calls me names.
Yeah.
If he's
you're relevant enough to be recognized.
Because if you're totally irrelevant, there's no nickname for you.
Is it no publicity is bad publicity?
That's right.
Yeah.
So if I'm the Walls campaign, I'm saying, he's talking about me. That means he's worried about me. That's my take.
You think he is, though?
I think that with Walls, and I think mostly what they know is that with the media teed up the way we know they're teed up. Think about how, and Casey Hunt wasn't that bad, but last night I was flipping around, I was watching CNN, then I review it early in the wee hours of the morning, and some of the, like Van Jones and some of the others on CNN, just brutal with how much they are just in the tank for Democrats. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's bad. If you're 100% right though. If you watch that whole Casey Hunt interview from today, she's tried so hard to attack him. She asks him first, what was the first? Is Tim Walz a moron? And then she asks him halfway through again, well, do you think someone who is a moron could be good on a debate stage? And then the final question she asks, as you mentioned, it seems like there's a producer in her ear saying, circle back, ask him about the effeminate comments. Yeah, and they're clearly in the pocket of Democrats at this point.
And by the way, this is the whole piece of this. Whether or not you think it's professional, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you don't think it's professional that, Jason Miller, who has a job working for a campaign, maybe you think it's unprofessional that he says another guy is effeminate, and that's just part of his vernacular, right?
Wildly gesticulating, effeminate caricature we see at rallies.
Maybe you think that's unprofessional. Let me tell you something. Part of this, if I zoom out, is that part of this is that Casey Hunt, she might as well have like some black boots and a little black whip, because she wants to train you that you, male, you are not allowed to speak like that. Because, see, the training is, the indoctrination, if you haven't gotten the memo, is that the media, and this is part of news media, it's a long part of entertainment media, that they don't want alpha males. This is how guys talk to each other. This is how guys will bust each other's chops, quite frankly, right? The reason I work well with guys is because I have a big brother. And it's proven, look up studies, women who have brothers do better in business, especially business where it's all male. Because this is how guys talk to each other. It prepares you for business. It prepares you for life. It's tough.
He's going up against a moron.
So they're going to call you names. They're going to say stuff to you. You know they love you. They're your friend. but they bust your chops. Guys do this all the time. Guys, by the way, they'll talk about their weight, their statistic. Women, why is it that we as women, oh my goodness, I would never tell my weight ever, and I don't like to talk about my age. Why is that? Guys put it all out there on the table, and that makes them less vulnerable, right? It makes them tougher, and it makes them better in business. We as women should take a chapter out of that. But the piece of this is that I look at from this is maybe disagree with me, is that in the media, and especially even in television sitcoms and entertainment, in all of these different, especially NBC, what do? Do you ever notice this? The guy, especially the white guy, is the idiot. He's the fall guy. You're an idiot. Who's the hero? The woman, or maybe a minority guy. But even the minority guys, they start taking pot shots at. It has to be the woman as the hero. What is the psychological impact on males and men of all ages, right? It's that, you need to know your place. You need to be the beta. And so it's an attack on masculinity. Certainly you've noticed this, but that's what this is all about. So it's not just Casey Hunt calling out one individual. It's crack the whip. No. You're not allowed to be a guy and talk like a guy
Sloppy
and call
Chris
that out.
Christie.
Exactly. Because that's what guys do. So I don't know if you disagree, agree, 855-839-1210. But it's an overall theme that Casey Hunt she's just following the orders, if you will. And so this is all a piece of the media. And it's why you see so many men rejecting so-called mainstream media. And why do you think, I'll key in, look at all the latest polls. Why do you think that the younger males, first-time voters, and this is 18 to 25, why is it that they're conservative? They're more conservative than those in the next up group, right? 25 to 32, whatever that category is. Why is it? You know why? Because these guys have had it already in school, and the attempted indoctrination of them. They've had it. They're sick of it. And so they're going to be a male, loud and proud. That's who they are. And they don't want to be put down anymore. And it's really a sin. What in education, we see it in media, it's wrong. And as a mom of boys and a wife and a daughter and a sister, I'm saying you be you. We should all celebrate who and what we are. But that's not what this is. And so Casey Hunt, all she's really doing is falling into line. I don't know, is there some kind of new training for this? But stop it already. Let the man speak the way he speaks. I'm just saying.
To your point on media bias, Media Research Center did a study on CBS. They monitored from July 21st until September 27th. And remember, CBS, if you're unaware, is holding that debate night between Walz and Vance. So they did a little study and monitored 346 minutes of campaign coverage. That's 161 total stories on CBS Evening News and CBS Weekend News. They found that coverage of Vice President Kamala Harris was extremely positive, 84%, while coverage of former President Trump had been lopsidedly negative at 79%. While there was far less discussion of vice presidential candidates, they found the same wild imbalance, finding 89% positive coverage for Democrat Walz, 89% negative coverage for Republican Vance. Add it all up, coverage of the Democratic ticket on CBS Evening News was 85% positive versus 81% negative for the Republicans.
And that was CBS News?
Yes, ma'am.
And CBS News, number 3 of the so-called big 3, but they're the lowest. I think ABC is still number 1, or is Lester Holt. It depends on which time part, whether it's the Today Show or whether it's the evening news. But ABC and NBC much higher. CBS by far falls behind them. So I will just say this, that you can tell when half the country sees that they are against men like J.D. Vance, who served in the military, combat veteran. They sense it, and they don't like it. By the way, unfortunately, who watches TV news anymore? That's another issue.
Good point.
So here's the thing. We're October 1st, fall, when you think about two things. Fall football and high school football, right? I love it. I'm on the road all the time. And also just the fall trips. Maybe it's a one-day trip, a weekend trip to see our beautiful fall. I was just looking up the places, the most beautiful places across Pennsylvania, New Jersey to enjoy the change of the season, the fall leaves. So maybe you're hitting the roads and maybe you need to check in with my friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles. They're going to help you find that luxury vehicle. You've been eyeing it. You've earned it. Now go get it with a little help from my friends. Piazza have thousands of new as well as certified pre-owned vehicles from brands such as Mercedes-Benz, Land Rover, Jaguar, Maserati, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, and more. Visit them, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. You can stop by one of their many Pennsylvania, Delaware, or New Jersey dealers, PIAZZA, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. Tell Dawn sent you.
Hey, it's Rich. Zeoli, winter is coming. Water will freeze and thaw around your property and into your foundation, and that's when the worst damage will happen. I used to worry about water, but then Garden State Earthworks solved my water problem for good. When we had our wet basement, it was caused by excess outside stagnant water. We called Garden State Earthworks. They assessed and drained the water away once and for all. Call the guy I trust, Lou Vargo at Garden State Earthworks, 856-848-4444 or GardenStateEarthworks.com.
This is Len Lundy of Lundy Law. When we say we hope you are never involved in an accident, we mean it. But if you're injured in an accident, we will work quickly to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. And when we also say it won't cost you a dime up front, we mean it. Remember our name, Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit LundyLaw.com.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Bob Casey supported sanctuary city policies that let criminal illegal immigrants onto our streets instead of deporting them. Casey voted over and over again to fund sanctuary cities, making our neighborhoods less safe. After an illegal alien was arrested for domestic assault in Philadelphia, instead of deporting him, they let him go. Thanks to sanctuary city policies Bob Casey supported. That same criminal, released under the radical policy Casey voted for, went on to repeatedly rape a 5-year-old girl. It could have been prevented. It should have been prevented. But Bob Casey failed us. The U.S. attorney said this young girl was raped because of Philadelphia's sanctuary city policy. Bob Casey voted over and over for this madness, putting our families, our children, at risk. We've had enough of Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Honey, I got a guy to fix our roof.
Oh no. The last time your friend recommended a guy, we had to get the repairs repaired.
It's not just any guy, it's PJ Fitzpatrick. Look, they have thousands of 5-star reviews and over 40 years of experience. PJ can fix leaky windows, broken siding, rotted trim, and damaged leaking roofs in just one day. Plus, PJ Fitzpatrick can even clean our gutters.
That's my kind of guy. What are you waiting for? Visit trustpj.com and set up an appointment today. TrustPJ.com.
Howard Eskin here, and as you should know, my friends at Jack Daniels have always made whiskey. But there's one thing Jack can't make more of. That's moments. So let's make sure we're making the most of every moment. Whether today's the day you try that thing you've always wanted to do, or you're just going to sip a glass of Jack and catch up with a friend. Make it count. Jack Daniels. Please drink responsibly.
Jack Daniels Tennessee Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniels Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and Old Number 7 are registered trademarks.
Copyright 2020 Jack Daniels, all rights reserved.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-291-3183. That's 800-291-3183. 800-291-3183.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Breaking news as we look at the developing story in the Middle East. And remember, I had mentioned earlier that as Rosh Hashanah, you think about the Jewish New Year, those celebrations begin tomorrow evening. Now there's word Iran is preparing an imminent launch of a ballistic missile attack on Israel. And this is according to senior United States administration officials. Warning today from Iran, severe consequences. Or the warning by the United States to Iran is you will face, quote unquote, severe consequences should this happen. So this is unfortunate that this crisis is heightening. And we've talked a lot about the fact that we have, the airstrikes back and forth and a ground invasion by Israel into Lebanon as they try to go after Hezbollah. And just to update you, remember that over the weekend and into the wee hours, what would be our time yesterday morning, we had learned that Israel had taken out some top Hezbollah, terrorist leaders, who then Hezbollah pushed back and said, hey, they're already replaced. So Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying today in a statement, Israel is facing, quote, large challenges as it is fighting an Iranian axis, and released a videotape statement actually urging the public to listen to public safety guidelines from the Army's Home Front Command. This is from the Israel standpoint, but he made no direct mention of a missile threat. But the word is now, and this is coming from Biden-Harris, the administration here in the United States of America, that this is an imminent launch by Iran of ballistic missile attacks on Israel. So we hope and pray that does not happen, but this is the latest breaking news. Around the corner, we will talk to Caroline Levitt again from the Trump campaign and check in with Caroline as far as Trump, obviously in Georgia yesterday, and you'll hear from Trump as well. I know that he was in Erie, Pennsylvania on Sunday, so we'll talk to her about the campaign, some of the controversies, and then looking ahead to this evening as we think about the one and only scheduled debate among the vice presidential candidates. We'll get it all, and you'll get the full update live and local right here, Dawn Stensland Show, 855-839-1210, Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-656-1551. That's 800-656-1551. 800-656-1551.
Roofing or siding issues? Don't wait. Call Emmons Roofing and Siding.
We provide comprehensive roofing and siding services with a focus on quality and customer satisfaction. And our warranties ensure peace of mind for you and your family.
Protect your home with the best warranties available in the industry.
Call Emmons at 856-885-6677 or visit callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
This football season, get yourself a win by losing. Call NJ Diet today and you will lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days, contractually guaranteed. You'll shock family during holiday get-togethers, and more importantly, your doctor should finally be able to give you good news about your blood work. Not only that, but losing weight is linked to help boosting low T. Best of all, there are no shots or nasty side effects. Call today, 855-5NJ-DIET, or go to njdiet.com.
Gerhardt's Appliances has what you need to be tailgate ready this season for the Birds and the Fightin's Pennant Drive. Whether it's the in-home appliances needed to prepare your famous Kelly green pepper casserole before pregame, or the barbecue grills you'll need to fire up the last of your sausage links in the parking lot before kickoff or first pitch, Gerhardt's has you covered with the best game day deals on appliances, helping Philly sports fans get the season cooking since 1945. Visit Gerhardt'sAppliance.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our Timeshare Exit Information Kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins, they won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
When was the last time you watched your home movies? Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick. And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry. Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos. We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever. It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA. Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box. New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box. Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
As you know, our country is in the final weeks of a hard-fought national election. But in a time like this, when a crisis hits, when our fellow citizens cry out in need, none of that matters. We're not talking about politics now. We have to all get together and get this solved. We need a lot of help. They have to have a lot of help down here. We look out for one another. We pull together. We pitch in. We persevere, and we pull it through. That is really the American spirit.
And that was former President Donald J. Trump And obviously, GOP candidate Trump, as he was taking off his campaign hat, if you will, and saying that he wanted to be with the people in this they were calling it epic, biblical floods across 6 southern states. Trump in Georgia setting up a GoFundMe, raising more than $1 million that we know of. And Trump there visiting Valdosta, Georgia, where he received a briefing on the devastation and wanted to facilitate the distribution of relief supplies. So first and foremost, to hear more about this as far as the Trump visit to Georgia, I know Caroline Levitt, welcome in this morning again. Good to have you here.
It's great to be with you, Dom. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So take me through with yesterday, what President Trump, what he was learning during the briefing and reaching out, I know, to so many different people in Georgia. He had expressed that he hoped to go to North Carolina, but there's really no way in, unless you're doing a flyover. Can you take me through, his visit to Georgia?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I would say that as soon as Hurricane Helene hit, President Trump was tuning into the news, very invested in what was happening to the American citizens in these states. And immediately, and I was with him at the rally this weekend in Erie, Pennsylvania. He made a sharp point to address the hurricane and its impact at the top of his speech in Pennsylvania. And then he asked our team to adjust his calendar so he could make his way to Georgia yesterday. And he does this out of the goodness of his heart, out of his concern for the American people on the ground. And you really saw that outreach yesterday. I was with him. He met with volunteers from Samaritan's Purse, which is a nonprofit organization that's doing great work to help rebuild the homes and businesses of those that have been destroyed in Valdosta, Georgia. President Trump also gave remarks about just the need for more federal funding. All of this took place while Joe Biden was sitting on the beach this past weekend when this hurricane hit, and Americans were literally drowning, dying, losing their livelihoods. And he said there's nothing more we can do for them. And Kamala Harris was whining and dining with her donors in San Francisco. That is a complete lack of leadership from the White House in this time of crisis, just like we saw during East Palestine, just like we saw during Afghanistan, and just like the lack of leadership we've seen for 4 years now at our southern border. Kamala and Joe have proven that they are unfit for office, and President Trump showed yesterday the type of leadership that this country desperately needs during times of dire need.
And so, Caroline, on one hand, we played that audio. I was watching because I always try to stream it even as I'm running my errands in the afternoon. So I was watching live as as former President Trump was, in Georgia with folks there. I know with Reverend Graham, who spoke some words about the Samaritan Christian charity group who was raising money and as well was trying to give out a lot of supplies. But then later in the day, it developed, I watched on, I think CNN was focusing on the fact that President Joe Biden was accusing Trump of, saying a back and forth with the governors that they had not received word or a phone call with Trump. So can you clarify what happened with that situation? Did the governors have a conversation with Biden, and were they able to, in a timely manner, get a hold of Biden? Because I know Biden was here in our area. I'm reporting live from Philadelphia, and Biden was not in D.C. getting briefed, and certainly not in the southern states.
No, Joe Biden was on the beach in Delaware over the weekend. He was literally photographed in Delaware. And when asked why he didn't go back to the White House immediately upon this crisis, he said, "Have you ever heard of a telephone?" I mean, in a sharp, sarcastic voice. And it again just shows the lack of leadership from the White House. And it was breaking news today down in Georgia that Biden and Kamala only approved 11 of the 90 counties for federal assistance. Governor Kemp requested federal funding for 90 counties that were impacted, whether it be power outages, businesses destroyed, homes destroyed. People need assistance. Again, President Trump was on the ground there yesterday. Maybe if Joe Biden went down there, he would realize just how much help the people of Georgia need, but he only approved 11 of the 90 counties. that is a dereliction of duty. And it comes days after Joe Biden approves another $6 billion in American taxpayer dollars to Ukraine. So we can give the Ukrainians billions and billions of tax dollars, but there's nothing else we can do for our own citizens who are struggling for no fault of their own because of this natural disaster. It's unacceptable.
And I know that the Biden administration said President Biden will go. I believe he's flying over. He'll get a FEMA briefing, but I believe it's a flyover of Asheville, North Carolina. That happens tomorrow, apparently. I mean, Caroline, let's just, I want to look at this. And I was looking back just at different media coverage because that's what I study these things, right? And so I looked back in the day when you think about Hurricane Katrina. And at the time, President Bush was ripped by the so-called mainstream media. This was before the mainstream media was called out for being biased or, conducting with fake news. But it was day 2. It was after 2 days that then President Bush flew over that area, which was flood-ravaged and a horrifying situation, the media blasting him after 2 days, saying that he was racist, not to go to after that storm.
Doesn't care about black people.
And there, thank you, Dan, for playing that. And so we see a sharp contrast with that. That's what your campaign is up against. You know that. How do you get your message through as far as, on social media with podcasters? Because the so-called mainstream media, they're not going to call it down the middle. You know it, I know it, and certainly Trump knows it.
Oh, believe me, I know it. I deal with it every day on this campaign, and I'll give you a few examples. Just yesterday, after President Trump, again, went to Georgia, showed up, partnered with a Christian nonprofit organization to deliver much-needed disaster relief to the people who are struggling. The media is obsessed with going back and looking at his disaster responses from years ago when he was in the White House, and they're writing stories on that today.
Yeah.
Instead of writing about the 2 morons that are in the White House right now who are completely botching their response to this hurricane today. I mean, they just declined more than 80 counties in Georgia, federal funding that they desperately need. They have not shown up to these areas of devastation, but the media won't talk about that because they do everything they can to not criticize Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and they do everything in their power, even if it means doing mental gymnastics, to try and point the finger at President Trump and blame him for every crisis that the American people currently face. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden own this. They are in the White House today. They have the power, the executive power, to do something about this today. They could call Congress back in session as well to do that because they have no leadership skills. And the media refuses to criticize them even when they deserve the criticism.
Yeah, well said. I do want to get to the Butler, Pennsylvania rally this weekend, returning to Butler. But for tonight's debates, between the Veep, the big Veep debate, the only one, what, from your perspective with the Trump campaign, what are you hopeful to see? And, I look at the moderators. I think they've learned a few things from the ABC. ABC got ripped for their performance as far as that biased moderators. So what are you expecting, hoping for this evening?
Well, we are very much excited about the opportunity for Senator Vance to really introduce himself to the American people and talk about his story, very humbling upbringing in Ohio, growing up in poverty, going on to Yale Law School, and then becoming a senator and now the vice presidential candidate for the Republican ticket. He has truly lived the American dream. He's a great guy. He's the best promoter of President Trump and his policies that we have. It's a great contrast to Governor Tim Walz, who is a radical liberal and has supported some very bad policies in Minnesota. Senator Vance will be pointing those out tonight. And, Governor Walz has a big task on his hand trying to explain away the crises, again, of the last 4 years that Kamala Harris owns, and trying to convince the American people why they should elect someone who has failed to secure our border, who has created the worst inflation crisis in a generation, and whose foreign policy has led to war in Ukraine and war in the Middle East. So with that said, I will point out, Governor Walz is a good debater. He's been in politics now for 2 decades. Senator Vance has been in the Senate for 2 years. So we expect this to be a good matchup. I think Governor Walz will bring his A game tonight, but certainly he has a lot to answer for in terms of policy on that stage.
And as far as this weekend, Butler, Pennsylvania, President Trump, I'm looking at event.donaldjtrump.com, the events. People can sign up for this in Butler, 5 p.m. rally. I don't know if you're going to be there, but this is a huge return to the site of the attempted assassination and obviously the murder of our great former fire chief, Corey Comparator, to honor his life. And his daughter had sadly put out there that she wanted, everyone to remember her dad as a hero, and President Trump obviously wanting to fulfill that promise. What can we expect this Saturday in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, well, it's going to be a solemn day for the campaign and for the country in many ways. As you said, this is the site where a great man lost his life. President Trump has become incredibly close to the family of Corey and his loved ones. We know that many of them will be in attendance on Saturday, and we are so excited to see them again. And we're grateful for their continued support of President Trump and the campaign. And just so sorry for the loss. There were 2 other gentlemen who were wounded on that tragic day. They will also be there in attendance with some of their loved ones. And I think it's going to be, overall a great event, showing unity and just showing why we so desperately need President Trump back in the White House. The Democrats have incited political violence and just inflammatory rhetoric against President Trump now for years, calling him an alleged threat to democracy, and so many other lies that has now led to real attempts on his life and continued attempts on his life, I may add. We know the Iranians are also engaged in a plot to try and take out President Trump. So the stakes have never been higher. President Trump is putting his life in danger by going back to Butler, and he knows that, but he's doing it for this country. He loves this country. He loves the American people, and he loves the people of Pennsylvania very much. He spent time in your Commonwealth as a young guy when he went to school there. He has a deep connection with Pennsylvania. He wants to do what's right by Pennsylvanians, support your fracking industry, bring down your cost of living, clean up the crime that we've seen in Pittsburgh and in Philly, and he wants to do that on behalf of all people. So he very much looks forward to returning to the Commonwealth on Saturday, and we encourage everyone to go online and sign up for tickets. You can go to donaldjtrump.com to get your tickets, and we hope to see you there.
Big crowd you're expecting. I mean, it'll be at the farm show grounds, right? So you have a huge venue.
Exactly. Yes, we're expecting a massive crowd for sure.
Well, Caroline Levitt, I hope you and the baby are well. I didn't even ask you about the baby as a new mommy. We'll talk about that next time, I guess. But thank you so much for stopping in. We appreciate you, Caroline.
Thanks, Dawn. Good to see you or talk to you. Thank you.
As well. Caroline Levitt. I mean, just a busy. I don't know if I told you this story. I saw online because I follow her on Twitter, and she's holding up a baby. And I had just seen her at one point. I was like, did she have a surrogate or something? Like, did she do the Beyonce thing? Like, no way did she just have a baby.
How do you do that, especially during a campaign? Wow. It's incredible. You
want to define a woman? There you go.
Yeah. That's tough. I mean, I don't know. I can only imagine.
But that's dedication to the job for sure. Yeah, so, and hopefully some grandparents and grandmommies who are helping out as well. All right, we'll continue the conversation. Your thoughts, 855-839-1210. Be right back.
This is Carson Daly, and on behalf of Dr. Alfie, Katie Neal, and all of our guests, I want to thank you for joining us for I'm Listening, Odyssey's mental health initiative. Our goal is to open our minds and hearts to more mental health conversations, because talk saves lives. If you missed the special or want to hear it again, you can find it at imlistening.org and on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. For more resources on your mental health journey, please visit imlistening.org. Thanks again.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America, N.A.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. You may know me from my book, Money Hacks. You may know me from my radio shows. And you may even know me from some of these commercials. But listen, I'm teaching stuff that people need to learn about money. In fact, my favorite topic is money. So go to investorschooling.com and you will learn things about money that you never even knew existed. We will teach you things about real estate, about the stock market, and about how to use your IRAs properly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
They're pounding on the door. They're calling on the phone. They're threatening to close your business. If debt has your business on the brink, call Ray Reynolds, the godfather of credit. For over 40 years, Ray Reynolds has helped thousands of customers get millions in cash credit. It's no wonder why they call Ray the godfather of credit. He may even be able to raise your score above 750 before the end of the year. You could even get a new personal or business credit line up to $50,000 within days. If your credit needs a rebuild, call Ray Reynolds and receive a $1,000 cash credit card at closing. Raise your credit score to 750 or more. Call Ray Reynolds at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295. Learn about Ray's secrets to success and how he can fix and improve your credit score to 750 or more. Call the godfather of credit rebuild, Ray Reynolds, at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins, they won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
Free speech lives here with Rich Zioli weekday afternoons 3 till 7 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
I told you about the big breaking news of the hour, of the moment, really, and that is this imminent attack as confirmed by sources within the Biden administration as Israel is bracing for what's being called an imminent attack. And this is not Hamas. This is not Hezbollah. This is Iran. So this is trouble as this situation escalates. And so we watch this and we think about, they're obviously very aware, just as Hamas attacked on October 7th, during a religious music festival, attacking those Israeli teens and college-age students. That was a year ago. This coming up Monday, they're very aware that the Jewish New Year celebrations begin tomorrow sundown, and so there's no coincidence in it, right? But we're watching this very carefully with this so-called imminent missile attack that now the United States, the Biden administration, is aware of. So watching that very carefully. I want to switch gears and talk about some health news because I wanted to talk about this all morning, and there was so much breaking going on. But a couple of things. The first ever recorded case in the Northeast, in this part of the country, and this involves, in particular, in Pennsylvania, the Northeast part of the state, New Jersey, and parts of the South as well, this tick-borne disease. So it's called Rickettsia parkeri, rickettsioses. It's a type of spotted fever that is transmitted through infected ticks and tick bites and mites, certain mites. And so that's from the CDC. It's similar to Rocky Mountain spotted fever, little more mild symptoms, headaches, fever, rashes, muscle aches. And this first showed up in Connecticut. So it festers usually in southern states and Florida, but now they say it has spread to our part of the nation, and they've seen it here in the Philadelphia area. So just a heads up.
Hartford, Connecticut's WFSB has a report on it if you want to hear that.
Okay.
This just came into the newsroom, and it is a new illness transmitted by an invasive Gulf Coast tick. And for the first time, somebody here in Connecticut has gotten sick. It's called Rickettsia parkeri rickettsiosis. And scientists and doctors say this illness is similar to Rocky Mountain spotted fever with relatively milder symptoms in U.S. cases. Symptoms include fever, rash, headache, and muscle aches. The antibiotic doxycycline is the most common drug used to treat the symptoms, and scientists say they believe migratory grassland birds play a crucial role in the spread of these ticks. On the First Alert Desk, I'm Stephanie Simone, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Stephanie. So what's interesting is the treatment is doxycycline, and so that's an antibiotic. So that's the regular treatment if you have those symptoms. But I always wonder, okay, how did the ticks and mites get it? Right, that's what you have to think of. It was if it's in the Gulf. So is this spread through a migratory bird? So how did it get here? Do you know what I'm saying?
Zombies?
Zombie apocalypse? I don't know. I just think these things are all spread through birds. Because what else spreads it?
Dogs? I mean...
No, but dogs are not migratory.
You don't know those migratory...
Silly.
Yeah. Those golden retrievers that go from the south to the north every year?
Yes, right? So how does this kind of a thing spread to the southern states unless it's... Okay, here's my theory then. Is it through mosquitoes? Even though this one they're saying is ticks and mites. But is it mosquitoes and they bite they're in the southern states, they bite the bird and then the bird carries it? I'm just wondering I'm trying to think this through. All these things make me nervous. All these things. Yeah. I have in my minivan and I spray the kids' shoes. I spray everything. Either DEET or if you can find the eucalyptus and lemongrass oil.
Oh, wait, tell me about this.
This is eucalyptus and the lemongrass combo. It's kind of hard to find, but if you find it, buy a bunch of it, buy a vat of it because it works and it's not the chemical.
Or you just roll around in it?
Spray it.
Yeah, okay. Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we walk Callie, and you're kind enough, so thank you very much for giving us some dog food for our great
farmer's
pup.
dog.
Yeah, she's loving this dog, or this dog food. So our neighborhood, for some reason, so we live in like a half woodsy, half kind of town home neighborhood, and whenever I walk the dog in the spring, we come back and there's not a time that Callie doesn't have like 3 or 4 ticks on her.
Aww.
And it's absolutely disgusting pulling these things off. And now you're telling me I might turn into a zombie if I get bit by one of these?
Not a zombie, but I just always worry. Some of these ticks and you think of Lyme disease and all this chikungunya and all these crazy things that go into your heart. So spray up, everybody, whether it's DEET, not DDT as Yoli says, but DEET, DEET. But if you can find the eucalyptus and lemongrass and eucalyptus combo oil, it's the best, and it works 100%. You can spray your dog with it as well, but you got to watch it. Also, and I hope we can and Dan's working on some different medical experts. We think of RFK Jr. talking about MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, and I think of the recent Italy trip and how we all talked about that foods and additives that are not allowed in places like Europe or Italy or around the world are allowed here. So in California, they have successfully now banned in schools their red dye, number 40, yellow dyes, number 5 and 6, blue dyes, number 1 and 2, and green dye, number 3. So Skittles, forget about it. But this is in California, and they're not going to allow any of this stuff in the schools. And so here's the thing. I swear to you, when my kids were little, they love ice cream cake. we would do those Caravelle ice cream cakes. These kids would be pinging off. They were pinging off the walls. It was crazy.
You think it's due to the dye or due to the sugar?
I think it's the high fructose corn syrup, and then the dyes. Yeah. But I just was like, we can't. Whatever's in there.
So you're in favor of the
can't
ban?
do it. I am in favor of it. I don't like.
Did your kids have sensitivities to it?
Yes.
Okay. What's the reasoning behind? So you had kids recently, and hopefully
they're teenagers now.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you,
a lot of allergies and sensitivities. Any reason why you think that is? Peanut allergies.
All the processed stuff.
Yeah.
They're processing it. Because why is it all of this stuff? ADHD, and I know a lot of people say, well, they test for it, whatever. But in California, they claim, they've done all this research, they claim that this stuff, there's a link between ADHD and all kinds of different behavioral issues. And so now there's people are looking at this and saying, why do we have to put these chemicals in the foods anyway? So let's just leave, if it's in question, and these are foods, cereal, think of all the high processed stuff.
Do you eat organic?
Yeah, I do when I can get organic. But I will say this. To me, kosher, I call it God's organic, if it's kosher or if it's locally grown. Anything locally grown, Pennsylvania, Jersey fresh, I think that's all under kosher.
God's organic.
That's God's organic. Okay.
Clever. I like that.
So it's so try to do whole foods. I don't know, maybe you think I'm crazy, but now the FDA, they put out a statement in reaction to California passing this new law. They claim most children have no. Listen to what they worded. This is our FDA. Most children have no adverse effects when consuming foods containing color additives, but some evidence suggests that certain children may be sensitive to them. Certain children. Certain children. How many? 1 million? To me, that statement, some children or certain children, who? How many? Where? What ages? Babies? Does it go by age group? Is this for the FDA to say certain children may be sensitive to these? So basically, they're not denying the research that has been found out in independent research studies and California.
Cassie, thank you for joining us on the YouTube chat, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Please like and subscribe. Writes in, my daughter was very sensitive to red dye. When I would make cupcakes with the pink icing, she would bounce off the walls. It was bad. We had to stop using it immediately.
Yeah, I know so many parents like you and like me that have said, why not avoid it? The problem is, and I know a lot of you want to sound off on this, so I don't know if we can take a couple of calls, 855-839-1210. The problem here is all these dyes, red dyes, yellow dyes, they're in cheese, they're in sauces, they're in syrups, they're in all this stuff that you don't even, if you see something that's purple or you see red or you see green, you might think, oh, there might be one of these dyes in there, but you might not realize what foods these things are in. They're in anything that has like a caramel color, like I say, the cheese spreads, things that oils, sauces, you don't think of that. And so why not just make sure you label it or just not use it? 855-839-1210. Do we want to get to a couple of calls, Dan?
We got to take a quick break, pay some bills, but we do have some callers, so please hang on the line there.
Hang on. We'll talk more about it. Let's talk about home when I talk about my kids and thinking about home. Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding. For years I've talked about Chapman, the great people there, Mike and Mark Chapman. And as their business has grown over the years, based in Chester County, and now their kids, taking part in the business, the families, but they're just a great local family-run business that is fully accredited and gets some of the best awards in the community. Great people. And so if you think about your home and fixing it up, maybe in time for the holidays, or maybe thinking about, this over the holiday season, or maybe next spring, I want to make some improvements. Now's the time you want to get these things on the calendar, and you want to work with their great project consultants who are going to help you choose the perfect items, whether it's windows, doors, and updating the look of your home, whether it's stucco remediation. They really do it all at Chapman. Maybe some new shutters. And the other piece of it, I will say, is that let's say it's just one window that you need to replace. They're great about working with you. Some companies, they're so busy, they're like, nah, we don't want to deal with you. It's too small a job. Mike and Mark Chapman, they'll tell you there's no job too small, right? And they also do a ton of custom work. They have a carpenter on staff, and that's what I love about them. They're going to meet your needs, and they're real problem solvers. Do great work. 610-431-8898. So it's 610-431-8898. You can even text them if you don't feel like calling. They're local, like-minded, listening right now. You're going to love them. ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Take a virtual tour. ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Weather sponsored by Robert Half.
9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
A slow-moving storm system will keep the forecast unsettled through Wednesday. Plenty of clouds today with a shower possible, mainly south and west, high near 70. Shower chance tonight with a low of around 60. And for Wednesday, the clouds continue. Slight chance for a shower, high again near 70.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa Classic Hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Baseball's all-time hit leader and former Phillies World Series champion Pete Rose has died at the age of 83. Philadelphia's Baldy Middle School celebrates a big milestone, turning 50 years old. And you can now pay your PA Turnpike tolls by using Google or Apple Pay.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Now I'm telling you, we're facing a new strain. It spreads like the flu. Impossible. Fine. Go to the hospital, check it out yourself. Go without a mask, you'll see more clearly. You got 19 dead, you got 100.
Dun, 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 dun. It was Dustin Hoffman. I had to look over. I'm like, whose voice is that? What movie is that, Dan?
That's Outbreak, 1995.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Who knew? All these movies.
Morgan Freeman, too.
It freaks me out, but that's why I have the bug spray, whether you want the au naturel stuff, the oils, whether you want the DEET, spray up, America. So I was talking about this new kind of spotted, it's like the Rocky Mountain spotted disease, tick-borne and mite-borne. So that is when, let's say you have the little field mice or the chipmunks, you think they're so cute, you know what they carry? Little mites. You can't even see them, the mites bite you. And then you get the rickettsiosis.
What is it?
I don't know. Rickettsiosis.
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 Sounds like a fake disease.
So
Probably
I was trying
horrible,
to,
though.
I know, and it's now here in the Philadelphia region. So what is up with that? How does it get here? So that was my question. If you worry about this stuff, because I do, I think about it all the time. And so does that mean that it's the migratory birds, and then the birds poop, and then, or how does that happen? How does it get here? That's my question. Because they're not saying mosquito-borne. They're only saying ticks and mites. 855-839-1210 is the number to call. Ben is in Abington. Hey, Ben.
Hi, Dawn. And Dan, your tick story prompted me to call regarding a similar thing called sarcoptic mange. My dog had it. It's actually transmitted red foxes. They don't have to come in contact with the fox. The fox just has to be on your property and leaves the mites there. So the dog was scratching herself silly, ripping off fur, and had to be treated with antibiotics and steroids. But it's prevalent.
Poor pup.
So I wanted Dan to, when he walks his dog, if you see your dog scratching herself like crazy, might be that mange. And this particular mange can actually be transmitted from the dog, the mites, to a human, is what our vet said.
So if Dan starts scratching like crazy, he's got the mange.
I'm not even kidding. My dog has been scratching a lot. We give her allergy medication and all this, and hopefully it's not this, because the last thing I want to do is start scratching myself.
What's the treatment?
I can't remember the antibiotic. I think it was Flagyl and also ivermectin, steroids. Steroids. She had it a year. She had it a year ago, and now, believe it or not, we're taking her back tomorrow because she just started again with the scratching. It can cause a chronic dermatitis or pruritus. She's been on those Cytopoint injections since then to minimize the itching and the skin irritation. So just wanted to tell your listeners it's something else to watch out for with your dogs.
Thanks for that heads up. Really appreciate it. Absolutely. You got to watch out for that, Dan. You got to get the doggy to the vet.
Yeah.
Get the antibiotics.
Well, it's been to the vet. We have a whole foot wash that Maisie has to put her foot into a Chinese food container every night to make sure that she doesn't scratch the feet at night. You might go a little overboard for this little one. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why first comes a doggy before the, stork arrives.
It's me knocking on wood there.
I know. The doggy is the precursor. So they kind of get you ready to be, to be a caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
And then the doggy gets sad when the baby's born. You know what I mean? Because they're not the baby anymore.
Poor Callie.
I know. Yeah. They're all sad. Let's get to Paul in Millville. Hey, Paul. Uh-oh.
Wow, he put us
He's
on
jamming.
That's the whole music for AT&T.
Work out.
Yeah.
Work it. Is he doing like aerobics or something?
No, that's
He's
like
jamming.
actual hold music.
That's like hold. He put us on hold.
Yeah, really.
I love it.
Yeah, that's not fair.
All right, I know. So we'll watch the mange. We'll watch if Dan's getting the mange. I'm looking at this. I get invited by our company.
Gotta watch if Dan's getting the mange.
I know Dan's getting the mange.
Yeah, that's a new
they send me this invitation at Odyssey. There's some big thing. 11:30 to 11:55. Do they not know that we're on the air? This is our own company.
What's going on here?
I don't know. It's something.
Oh, something big.
For
food?
Maybe there's free food.
There's food. I
know. Look at you.
Right?
Like Scooby-Doo.
I'm actually pulling it up right now. Yeah.
There's a lot more going on today with health news. I'm just trying to pull this up. So we talked about this, and it's serious. That rickettsiosis thing is pretty scary. We talked about the California, the red dyes, the yellow dyes, several different types of dyes, and then dextrose warning. Do you ever see dextrose and you wonder what it was? Yeah, it's not good. It makes your glycemic levels go through the roof and can give you type 2 diabetes. When you see dextrose, and they say, oh, it's just like sugar. No. It's not a good thing. And finally, I'll just say this, that Wawa is number one. So this is an American Consumer Satisfaction Index, first ever convenience store study, and Wawa, we're number one. Ranked America's favorite spot to refill your gas tank and your tummy. So this was conducted just within the past month, and they say Wawa is number one for coffee, freshness, food quality, wait times, and the speed of checkout. The most popular convenience store the study found is Wawa.
I disagree.
What?
7-Eleven.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
No.
You're joking.
No.
7-Eleven is no. No. Why
I feel like
do you
I'm
say
quicker
7-Eleven?
in and out for 7-Eleven.
No.
Yeah.
No.
They have a lot of the good 2 for deals. Well, actually, no. Wawa's been doing a lot of the good 2 for deals too, like on the vitamin water and such.
Wawa, first of all, they have the apple slices. I'm amazed that because you're into health.
I'm somewhat anti-Wawa
shocked.
for the sole sake that I feel like they've kind of sold out to a degree by expanding as fast as they have, and I feel their food quality has.
Really? I don't see it.
They don't need pizza. They don't need burgers. Why are they doing all this crap?
Pizza's good.
You tried it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I have teenage sons. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but still, go get Domino's. It's at least a step up from Wawa.
Oh,
pizza.
no. Let me tell you something. Have you tried the Wawa
Jim
pizza?
says he's had it too. It's not that bad.
The Wawa pizza is good. The fries, not so much. I'm just saying.
Like, don't they put isn't like a toaster oven that they put the pizza in? You know what?
Good.
Aren't they sponsors? I should probably stop talking about them.
I'm just saying, but they seriously. Number 2 ranked chain was Quick Trip, and because today's it's National Taco Tuesday, or it's Taco Day.
QT? I've seen that before. Who has that on their jerseys or someone? I think it's like the Braves or somebody has it on there.
Quick Trip is number 2 because this is national. But Wawa, their expansive menu featuring more than just hot sandwiches, pizza, quesadillas. Their sourdough sandwiches are delish, but also they have the fresh stuff, the fresh cheese, hard-boiled eggs, which I love when I'm doing the no-carb diet, which I'm doing again right now.
Their coffee is comparable to anybody else.
It is.
Like Maisie likes
Good.
Starbucks, but I actually prefer Wawa to Starbucks.
Yeah, and the self-serve stuff. Anyway, you can sound off on it, but I thought I was trying to end on something a little.
And baseball fans are probably out there cringing. It's not the Braves, it's the Royals that have Quick Trip as a sponsor. Just want to put that out there as a correction.
I don't care. I'm not going to whatever place.
My fault.
To get food. I'm not, and I complain. We all complain if we do our road trips, and then there's no Wawa. We're like, oh man, you miss Wawa. It's much like when Dan goes on vacation.
Yeah.
And then you know how you miss.
No, you do.
People or things.
I went down to South Carolina, just to Darlington for a wedding recently. All they had was gas stations and something called, I'm not even kidding, the name of the store is just The Pharmacy.
The Pharmacy.
The Pharmacy. And that's like a little quick stop for medications or, it's almost like it's mini CVS, but bougie.
What do you miss when you're traveling? Now, one thing that I love when we travel, especially to the South, Waffle House. Waffle House
Overrated.
is everywhere. Oh, no.
Oh,
Waffle House is the best.
It's terrible.
Oh, no.
No, it's really bad. Like me and Maisie, we seeked out going to a Waffle House when we were incredibly disappointed by how bad it was.
You get so much food.
What do you get? I
get the whole thing. Because I go off my diet and it's a waffle.
Yeah.
And grits.
Okay.
And egg, 3 eggs.
See, I got the scrambler that comes on the hash browns, and the hash browns were really thickly cut, and I'm not a fan of that because it felt like I was eating potato noodles. Maisie got the waffle, and it was kind of floppy, wasn't crunchy like we expected it to. I just wasn't too impressed.
I love Waffle House. I've never had a floppy waffle at Waffle House. So for me, it was good.
Let me clarify, at Waffle House.
At Waffle House, yeah. Nothing was flopping for me. It was good. And I love it. And it fills everybody up. And for $9, you get a ton of food. Even my boys were filled up.
I don't like starchy breakfasts. They're overrated. Waffles, pancakes, French toast. You need your protein.
I can tell I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I agree with you normally, but so that's our thing. And unfortunately, that was one of the barometers, if you will, of this storm. That for the first time, they shut down all the Waffle Houses because of the 6 states that were struck so hard with this devastating historic storm. And so no Waffle House. I mean, you have 1.5 million people still without power.
It's fascinating to have no Waffle House.
I know. It was
it just
what?
Doesn't happen.
You know it's bad when the Waffle House closes. 855-839-1210. Quick break. Yes, be right back.
This month, Talk Radio 1210's Veteran Spotlight salutes U.S. Army veteran Rebecca Cornell. Hi, Nick here. Join us this Wednesday morning as we shine a spotlight on this outstanding local veteran in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation, celebrating their remarkable commitment to community service and their exceptional service in the military. Presented by Window Nation. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com. Our Veteran Spotlight is tomorrow morning on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
With the federal government allowing over 20 million non-residents into our country to participate in social programs that they aren't paying for, the taxes on your portfolio are set to skyrocket.
Barry Kaiser. I started with Crash Proof Retirement in 2005. With this year's election, I'm concerned there will be continued high spending, providing opportunities for people who aren't even American citizens. Taxes would continue to go up and families would have a much more difficult time living. But I don't have to be concerned financially because I've been through 2 market crashes since I've been in Crash Proof Retirement, and I have not lost a penny. With the Crash Proof Retirement system, I've earned over 10%. Once it is credited, you never lose it. With Crash Proof Retirement, I'm election proof.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Spring Mill Country Club on October 16th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Media Theater in Media, Saturday, November 16th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Honey, is our car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My sister just got an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover our repair bills if anything happens to our car, new brakes, a transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait a minute, we pay nothing on the repairs? Ox gets it fixed for us? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance? What's the number?
800-224-8517. Ox has a 30-day money-back guarantee and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike other warranty companies. We should call now. 800-224-8517.
The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-224-8517. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-224-8517, or go to oxcarcare.com.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Bob Casey supported sanctuary city policies that let criminal illegal immigrants onto our streets instead of deporting them. Casey voted over and over again to fund sanctuary cities, making our neighborhoods less safe. After an illegal alien was arrested for domestic assault in Philadelphia, instead of deporting him, they let him go. Thanks to sanctuary city policies Bob Casey supported. That same criminal, released under the radical policy Casey voted for, went on to repeatedly rape a 5-year-old girl. It could have been prevented. It should have been prevented. But Bob Casey failed us. The U.S. attorney said this young girl was raped because of Philadelphia's sanctuary city policy. Bob Casey voted over and over for this madness, putting our families, our children, at risk. We've had enough of Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
No, don't get stressed, it's gonna get figured out. Oh, deep conversation that no one allows. Headstrong father and a determined mother.
We're watching all the breaking news of the day as we say a prayer for Israel right now as they brace for what is being called an imminent attack, a missile attack by Iran in that region, with Rosh Hashanah tomorrow evening, beginning the Jewish New Year. And there's so much happening locally, regionally, nationally. We've gotten through so much. By the way, Willow Grove Mall, we talked about it on Kale and Company. Willow Grove Mall, I love this, is no longer allowing teenagers to just hang out unsupervised after dark. You got to show your ID. One of my favorite stories of the day. Good for them taking a stand, right?
They do it. So I live right near the Deptford Mall now, and they instituted that a while back. And I got to tell you, it's made shopping at 7 p.m. on a Friday or Saturday much more pleasurable.
Yeah, and it makes it safer for everybody. I mean, they've had some problems, and by the way, remember it was a 12, 13-year-old girl. Some creepy guy grabbed her, so they just need to lock that down. So I'm glad they're saying you got to show an ID, and if you don't, you are booted. You're just out of there.
What's the deal, though? Because I remember when I was growing up, or even before that, you had the mall rats, the teenage kids that were just dropped off at the mall and spend the day there. But there wasn't the kind of violence and that we're seeing, or this touching. Like why in society do you think, Dawn, are we at a point that we can't just drop kids off at the mall and let them have a good time like we used to be able to?
Number one, parents, because I don't know about you, but I was more afraid of my mom than any police officer. Rosemary, you know what I mean? She was coming after us with either a wooden spoon or a Hot Wheel track. Okay, so
very
so if there was no fear of police, the police were the good guys. It was Rosemary. You better watch out for the wrath of Rosemary. If you were taken home, escorted home, from school or the mall, God forbid, for acting up. Oh my goodness. So part of it is parenting, and then the other part of it is they know that they will not face any serious consequences. So this is all part of the defund the police and the victim mentality and all of that. So that's my take. But good for you. I love that mall, and I think it's fantastic that they are taking a stand and making the mall safe again. Massa. One thing I talked about earlier this morning was Pete Rose, MLB legend, Phillies legend. He has, the word we got last night was he died at the age of 83, all-time hits leader, as you know, banned from baseball for betting on the sport, not here in Philadelphia. But Rose, his family, MLB put out a beautiful statement saying, may he rest in peace. And obviously 4 all-star appearances helped the Phils win to one of our two World Series championships during 5 seasons here in Philadelphia, 1979, 1983. Phillies just putting out a beautiful statement. Saddened to learn of Pete Rose's passing. He will be remembered for his grit, for his hustle, for playing an integral role in bringing the team its first World Series championship. Charlie Hustle, may he rest in peace. Stop talking about the controversies. I hate that.
Should he be remembered positively?
Yes.
Yeah.
Give it a break.
Obviously, right now, it's so fresh, you got to, right? But like a couple months down the road, when we think of Pete Rose, are we going to remember him as the cheat or the gambler? Or are we going to remember him as the, guy who was an amazing mainstay for the MLB for as long as he was?
Well, I thought it's a time where we believe in people being able to have rehabilitation, right? I mean, they basically
sports gambling's legal now.
They want to
I can go
cop
make
killers.
a bet on FanDuel if I want.
The same people who would like to have Mumia Abu-Jamal freed still want Pete Rose to be remembered, okay? As he cheated. So give me a freaking break. All right. I love what Stephen A. Smith. You can say that for I know Dom Giordano. You met and interviewed Pete Rose, right? Isn't that right?
I didn't meet him. I interviewed him, and he made one of the greatest plays in baseball history. Top 10. Boone drops a pop-up catcher running down in the World Series against Kansas City. Pete Rose catches it off the catcher's glove.
Amazing.
That's somebody at that high level, but that intensity. I don't know anybody else that would have done that.
I mean, 83 years. He was obviously pained by the media, what they branded him as. Should we put an asterisk by his name still, Dom?
Well, I think he belongs in the Hall of Fame. But, Dawn, it's one thing gambling, but when you're the manager, you have a tendency over a long season, you overuse your relief pitcher or your starting pitcher if you're trying to win that game because you bet on it. So I see why they don't allow them to bet on baseball.
So you don't believe in redemption?
Well, you can't. No, he belongs in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I'm just saying, though, I understand the rule against gambling. Yeah. It's a little bit different. And I want him on my team coming home in the All-Star game, crashing into Ray Fosse That's the way to play.
So Feudy Pandoli, I can't fact check this in
Yeah.
the fly here, but he says allegedly next week MLB's going to announce its new smoke spin for the FanDuel contract. I think he's making a joke there, but had there not been this push to legalize sports gambling, where do you guys stand? Do you still think he should be a Hall of Famer? Or do you think-
I think he should be a Hall of Famer no matter
Agreed.
what. Yeah.
Agreed. I mean, come on already. It's like 50 years or 40 years, whatever it is. Like, can we just honor him for his greatness? And he confessed. He apologized. I don't know. Don Giordano, I know you're going to take on the topic and so much more. Do you want to talk about what else?
Oh, yeah. We're going to say what J.D. Vance needs to do in the debate tonight. It has nothing to do with is Tim Walz a moron that was actually asked on CNN. Yes. Good night, everybody. What he has to do
He's going up against a moron.
is link this to say Kamala Harris is the incumbent and these policies are the incumbency, and then humanize himself even if he gets angry about a hillbilly elegy.
Yeah. JD, listen to Dom. Would you already? Dom Giordano starts right now.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800